afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever time you're watching this. Welcome to a special edition of the Ranger Recap. And yes, folks, you can see we're on video for one of the few times in our lives. It's the Shades, it's Easy Rider, it's Matty J, and joining us is our very special guest, the voice of many of your favorite Power Rangers villains and, well, mentor, Geoff Dolan. Geoff, how we doing, sir?
Hey, good. Thanks very much. Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, where do we start? Like, I normally like to throw out an icebreaker, you know, a nice fun question. But I guess if you were to give away a power, as Gosei, what power would you give away?
Tough to say, really. I'm not. It's an unusual situation I'm from or I'm in because I've never seen a show.
Yeah, I'm well aware. I know New Zealand's got those laws. They don't. They actually ban Power Rangers over there, which is just funny.
But they can't show it.
The irony of it all.
Now, it's finally back on now. I did actually find it just purely by chance on one of our channels a couple of weeks ago in the latest series. So, but I've never seen anything prior to this. So I'm just completely not up to play on what the characters can say, where they went, what the stories happened, how series resolved. I just don't know any of it. Yeah, when we did the voices, I never got full scripts of anything. I only got the lines that I had to say in the show, our voiceover sheet, and so my knowledge and history of the show is very poor. Sorry, gentlemen.
Well, that's gonna knock out a lot of our questions right there.
Yeah.
Okay, we're none of us perfect.
True.
Very true.
No, it's funny. Like right before the show, I asked a lot of our fans to send in questions that they wanted to ask you, and a lot of those questions are now kind of moot.
Oh, well, we'll find out. Just ask away anyway, and I can always see. I think there may be something I know, but yeah, sort of power-wise, I'm not really up to what different powers people had. Gosei, as such, sort of led the Rangers and gave them good advice and told them when to insert power cards and other bits and pieces. But as a power itself, he was a fairly, other than being sentient and being wherever they were, that was quite a cool thing to be able to, in the middle of a battle, just pop up in their ears and, hey, I'm here, do what I say. So, yeah.
It's funny how you put that.
If Gosei actually said that. It's like, do this. But Gosei, did I stutter? Do what I say.
Yeah.
Gosei laying down the law. I love it.
Yeah.
Don't argue with me.
Yeah, that must hold true for a lot of, because you might not know this then, because you know, for us, you've played some of the more iconic villains, most especially, of course, Koragg from Mystic Force. You know, the big purple knight.
Yeah.
You know,
love Koragg.
Very fun. Good. Yeah.
I guess the first real question we've got to ask is, like, how did you get involved in Power Rangers in the first place? Since obviously, you know, this is a small time thing for you guys.
It's a small time thing on screen for us, but it's actually a big time thing as within the industry. I mean, they've been here for coming up to 20 years shortly. You know, it was sort of a really nice follow on from the demise of Xena and Hercules, which we'd all worked on very extensively through there. So it kind of filled a gap after those guys left, and so we'd all had a lot of work and a lot of experience with the American companies, with Rob Tappert, etc., with Xena and Hercules. And so we were already in that mode. We'd already done a lot of ADR work for Young Hercules, for the show. No, for some reason I keep forgetting the name of the one that Bruce Campbell did as well.
Jack of all trades.
Yeah.
I loved that show. I was so mad when it got canceled.
Yeah, so I had a role on that, and we also did the ADR, and we did Foley groups and stuff. So we had a fairly good system already set up. And basically, what happened was Power Rangers came in, and they basically just slotted into the program that Hercules and Xena had used, same studio, same directors, etc. So they already knew who the talent was they wanted to work with, who was the good voice talent, and they got us in pretty early on to audition. I had my first role with Power Rangers was actually an acting role. I think that same year or maybe a year later, I went into the voice side of things.
So it essentially went for you guys. It literally went Xena and then Hercules and then Power Rangers. This is just a regular day at the office for you guys.
Yeah. It was a nice continuation of work. And so, as I say, because the system was so strongly established, that the network of people were connected already. The directors knew who we were, and we rolled through from the start. And traditionally, Power Rangers had moved countries quite regularly, and especially just before coming to New Zealand, they'd bounced through Eastern Europe, particularly. I think they came directly here after having been in the Czech Republic or Poland or something like that. So we weren't sure how long they were staying, because that was just their modus operandi. They kept looking for possibly better locations or different locations or whatever. But for some reason, 18 years later, 19 years later, they're still here.
I can actually tell you why that was. They came to New Zealand, actually, it started when Disney first bought them out, and it was actually because, well, New Zealand was cheaper for them. And
quite likely.
Yeah, and that's why they've stuck around so long. It's been very cost effective for them, and well, their performances have been hit and miss, but otherwise been pretty solid. But yeah, like I was actually going to bring up the fact that you had done some work for Hercules as characters like Orant and stuff like that, and then of course before all this started. So
I can't believe you're in Jack of all trades. I got to go back and watch that show now. I'm imagining Bruce Campbell in Power Rangers. How awesome would that have been, Maddie?
It was good. Yeah. No, Bruce loved it. He was very funny. He was the most approachable out of all the guys. I mean, I got on very well with Kevin Sorbo as well because we were golf mates, but Bruce was very funny. So yeah.
Oh man, I saw him at a convention once. I was too scared to go up to him because Bruce Campbell's like a god to me. I think he's a god to all of us.
He played a very large Italian opera singer in the show, one of the shows. So yeah.
Yeah, actually, since we're talking about other shows outside of Power Rangers, because we know you know you do other work. The show that I think I have to bring up for a couple of reasons is the show you did back in 2011, The Almighty Johnsons. Because I was doing some research. I do my due diligence around here, and where you basically played a reincarnation of Thor.
Yeah.
where Thor is a goat farmer.
Eric the goat farmer, but the incarnation of Thor. Correct. So that was great fun. My good friend was the head writer on the show, and he just had this wacky idea to throw me in it, and we had a great time with it. It was so much fun to be told basically. When the character's described, before I've even said anything, you're described as completely bonkers, absolutely mad as a cut snake. You kind of go, I've got a lot of leeway here. I can pretty much play this how I want. So yeah, that was an excellent part to play.
Absolutely, so much so in fact that I actually stumbled across your YouTube channel where you kind of continue the. Yeah, you think I wouldn't find that? Yeah, he did Thor Talks, aka TED Talks, as Derek Thor Talks.
So I just did that as a bit of a COVID filler because I was bored during COVID.
Yeah, g'day. Yeah, it's Derek here. Derek's Thor Talks. Thought I'd just keep doing them because I'm bored.
And so it got me out of the house a couple of hours once a week. So, it was good.
How ironic, guys, that 1 year later after Mystic Force, which Koragg was in, they actually had a Thor in Operation Overdrive.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I'm just like, man, off by 1 year.
Well, that's my next aim is to talk to them and try and get another acting role in it because, as much as I enjoy the voice stuff, to play one of the sort of guides or teachers or wacky professor or something like that, or the general or whatever, within a series would be quite a kind of a full circle, I suppose, having come back.
Yeah.
We'd really love to see that.
Playing the odd, cameo courier part is, or cleaner is quite fun, but yeah, a bit more consistency of work would be good. You mentioned about having seen the Derek Thor Talks online, which was good. And going up with those. I've done about 60 or 70 of those online, and as I say, they were just a filler to keep me sane during COVID lockdown over here. 7 weeks in isolation, which was fun, looking after my mum. Yeah, so they were just a nice sort of way of kind of going, let's do something creative to keep my head sort of in one space and have a look at the view of the world from Derek Thor's perspective. So yeah, sort of had a bit of fun with that side of things. Yeah.
You brought up Hercules and Xena earlier. I'm required to do this by law. Hercules. Hercules. Sorry, I can't turn it off.
It's your reverend brain. Before we continue, you had mentioned, obviously Hercules and Xena and young Hercules. I'm trying to remember if you were in a scene or not. It's been so long since I watched the show, but young Ryan Gosling, how was he in person?
Yeah.
He was so new on the scene sort of thing, I suppose, and he was just really one of the guys, really slotted in really nice. He absorbed the local culture. He just enjoyed hanging out with the Kiwis. He wasn't this isolated star trying to do his own thing. He was really bloody good. So I never actually had an acting role on young Hercules. I was just the ADR and Foley crew, but we had rap party and stuff like that, and other bits and pieces, social times where it was let's head out and watch a rugby test, or show him a bit of town and stuff. So yeah, it was him and Dino Gorman got on very well. So yeah, he was very very sociable. It was good.
Hopefully that carried on to into the rest of his career.
Might have a bit of a reputation as being a bit of a lone wolf, I think, in some ways. And some of the roles he took, especially, I think, was at the driver, where he hardly spoke a word in the movie, and he's had a lot of those sort of very insular sort of characters to play. So I think he gets a bit of a bad rap, but as I say, from the early days, he was a real good guy.
Sounds like something might have happened that changed him. Who knows? But anyway, let's get on. We're tired of talking about you, not about other people.
Yeah.
But Easy, I think part of me wonders if we even should show him the clip that we have, because I don't know if he'll get it now. Because of one of the lines that you were written for. We have an infamous soundbite we like to use.
A running gag, if you will.
I think I know
Especially
what
on my show.
I'm still slightly embarrassed that this had become a running gag, and we're speaking to the guy who spoke the infamous line.
It's a lot to take in.
Whenever we have a scene where something just doesn't make any sense whatsoever, they're doing something that they should not be doing because it just doesn't make any sense. We're wondering, why in the ever-loving hell are we doing this? Are you doing
my
this?
reviews, by the way. We should check that. Yeah.
So, but we had to show you this.
There's a simple explanation for that.
Damn it, Gosei!
We have since dubbed that Troll Say.
I'll say, sure. There is a simple explanation for that I'm not going to explain.
Oh, you should have seen the other Ranger actors from that season when we've shown them that clip. They've laughed their heads off.
Sure.
Yeah, we almost interviewed almost every Megaforce actor, and we've all tried to get them to say "Damn it, Gosei" along with me, and we've done it. We've got a few of them.
Yeah,
mixed success for sure.
Yeah,
Never. It was the topic of conversation because quite often Gosei did have, and even Koragg at times had things to say sort of out of the context of the story that we didn't have behind us or have in front of us, I should say. We were sort of saying, why am I saying this? Had something else happened earlier, or is something going to happen? And we didn't always have the information. So myself and Jim Marty, who was our director, our voiceover director in the studio, would just sort of say, just say it, Geoff. It's what they want you to say. So I just say it. So, yeah.
That seems kind of off to me as someone who's interviewed many voice actors stateside, where direction is kind of important. You got to know exactly why, like, what's the motivation? What's the framing? Otherwise, it just doesn't sound, it just sounds stiff.
Yeah, you would think that, wouldn't you? Yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is why I say we never blame voice actors for bad performances, because 9 times out of 10, it's the direction and writing.
Sometimes it is, yeah. And it didn't happen often, but just sometimes there were those little things we would sort of go, why? And you go, don't ask. And I go, okay.
Wow, we're learning a lot tonight, aren't we? Yeah, I'm trying to think, like, the problem is like you said, because you don't have that much knowledge about the franchise, and A, you don't get much from the directors, and B, you don't get a chance to watch it yourself, you don't, like, a lot of the questions we would have probably asked about this, including a lot of the questions from our fans, you wouldn't have a clue.
The directors overall know, really solid and really good information and background, and they fill you in. There were just some unique times where the information wasn't there and we couldn't refer back to anything, and so we just had to give it our best crack. And if there was going to be any issues, the producers in LA or something would come back and say, no, we need to say it this way because. So overall, it's that one particularly is one that stands out that's been brought up before. But no, it wasn't a common occurrence. And overall, you would have a decent layer of background that gave you a sufficient go forward to make sense of the scene.
Yeah, and I would assume that some lines you look at, you're like, okay, I can see where this is going.
The way they did that, guys, that again just screams problems with this show. And Geoff, not your fault. None of this is your fault, but we've had many problems with Megaforce, and this is just another one we got to add to the list, right, guys?
Yep.
Pretty much.
Not counting the crappy writing, the bad storytelling, etc., etc. But we love Gosei.
Good.
We love you, Geoff.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, we loved your voice work. The character, well, iffy.
Yeah.
You knew a guy that knew Zordon. That's about all he knew.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm not sure what it was about the character that made these 4 or 5 kids, come into a cave and see this glowing head on a wall and go, yeah, we got to listen to this guy. He seems really up to it. I would have myself probably just got to go, what the hell are you on about? And walked out. That's got you guys talking, and it's got you guys creating a fairly good fan following. And if everything was perfect, you wouldn't be discussing things so deeply, I suppose. So yeah.
Well, he's got us there.
Yeah.
True.
Light.exe certainly not found on that one. Because if you could go back, like if you were able to find out how the characters actually were supposed to be and maybe redo those lines, like would you actually consider doing that?
Sure, I suppose if we, and it's probably something that we need to introduce to now is giving us as actors a bit more background on the story flow for that character, rather than just having it evolve each time you turn up in the studio. So having a bit more of a concept from the start of where they come in, why they came in, where they're from, what their likely story path is going to be. that'd probably be really helpful. And then so if we had that, it probably would colour how we did our job in the past. It would probably say I might have said that slightly differently. But as I mentioned, you always got really good feedback from the producers from LA. So if you hadn't nailed it, then they wouldn't have accepted it. So, whatever we're doing, how we're doing it, it still seems to be working. So throw a few of those other questions out from the fan. Who's asked a few questions? Just see what might be there.
Let's get the questions anyway.
All right.
Lightning round, let's do it.
I got one or two of my own.
Yeah, well, the questions I had were all just about like your work in like the direction of certain characters you played, which again we've already kind of established. Like the one question was, was there anything more you wish you could have done with the character of Gosei or Koragg as characters? Like that's the kind of questions I was getting.
Especially with Koragg, it would have been a natural progression for me to go on and be the actor in the show as well.
That would have been awesome.
And I was, at the time, I'm carrying a bit of what I call COVID comfort at the moment. But when I was doing Koragg, I was still in fairly good shape and still very physically able and to get my fight on. But that would have been something I would have really liked to have done. I think the thing with Gosei I've got to really appreciate is the fact that I got 2 years in the show, which is really unusual for any core character. Usually all characters sort of change out after a year. So to have that privilege to go on for 2 years was really cool. I would have liked for him to have done something equally heroic within it rather than just sort of passing on the advice to the Power Rangers to, would have been good to have him do something before his demise or whatever that, really saved the day and really saved the Power Rangers or something. So he went out on a heroic high, say. But hey, it went how it went, and that's the Power Rangers are the stars as such. So that's of course where the focus is going to stay. Who asked that?
To be fair, your Gosei was nothing but a giant face on a wall. Like you didn't move, it didn't move at all.
Still,
So
I'd love to see. He did say he was Zordon's mentor, so I would have loved to have seen a little backstory. What they could have gotten away with. Because we always see clips of Zordon's backstory all the time. We never see anything of Gosei's backstory.
I mean, he must have had powers of a way that way to say the fact that he was there and able to do things and advise. So he must have had something he could contribute in a physical way, even if it was just with whatever telepathic or controlling powers he had. So yeah.
Fair enough. That's a fair point. And then Guts, our buddy Guts asks, what can you tell us about the vocal direction you were given when voicing your lines for Omni from S.P.D?
The magnificence.
Yeah,
about that one.
All of the voices are basically, we come up with what we have with the audition and stuff we do. But we also get a lot of guidance from the director and from production in LA when we first start getting into them about where they want to see it go. The characters' voices are really designed around their look and their intent more than anything else. So Omni was only a relatively short character, and it was so long ago now that I did Omni that my knowledge of how I came up with their voices long forgotten, I'm sorry. But around Koragg and Dai Shi and Gosei, they were really based around, so Koragg, of course, was the night wolf. And so I tried to get a sort of growl aspect of things into the voice, a quite deep growl, but while maintaining the sort of the menace. A wolf is a very menacing character. If you're out in the woods and you hear it just that brings a sense of fear into you. Whereas Dai Shi was more the lion character, so it was a sort of different place in the voice and more of a roar as opposed to a growl. So those are the sort of the little things you sort of initially base on and play with, and then let the directors and producers hear that and bang, yeah, that's what we're really wanting. Direction for Gosei was really around, I think I recall a little line saying, think of a California surfer, in the way that his calmness and the tone of the accent. So that sort of helped lead that one. With Omni, I'd have to watch a clip just to sort of refine what my motivations or gearing was there. But the workings were the same no matter what character it is. You're finding that look, or you're finding that key line within the description of the character to guide your voice. When we do our original audition, we don't actually know what the characters look like. They're sort of explained, and a bit of their design is sort of explained in writing, but we don't actually see a pic or a drawing or even a clip of them. So you're sort of creating from a fairly limited base of information initially, and then they're really listening just to how you present that voice and then work from there.
Considering you got you're dubbing stuff that's also part Japanese footage, I'm surprised they don't give you something to work with there. That just seems kind of off.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've got your script, so we already get guideline from them as to what is being said. Someone just throws it in there just to kind of give you timings. But I mean, there's a number of factors you're needing to work through. As much as you'd love to really put a whole lot more intent and and drama and everything into it. Another thing you've got to consider is the time restrictions on how you can get that line in. You might want to be a bit more menacing and leave a bit of air in a line, or leave the tension there, but then you've got to go and then finish the line. But unfortunately, what we get generally is a very close to finished edit of what's being put to air, and we have to also play with that timescape as well.
I was running the show. I would have at least put together a rough few clips of Wolzard from Magi Ranger to show Geoff. Get him in the right frame of mind. But hey, you pulled it off. No complaining.
Off regardless.
We audition for these things well before they start filming them. But I imagine, as you say, they're using a bit of the Japanese pickup stuff, and they could have possibly thrown some stuff in there. But yeah, we don't know if they're using all of it. So it's
fair enough.
Yeah.
And there are original scenes to think of too.
Yeah.
Obviously. I was just thinking more for just to give you an idea of what the character is going to be like. Just general things, not maybe.
Like I said,
not full
rough
dubbing,
cut.
but rough cut.
Yeah, sure.
I'm a big Koragg fan. Is there any line in particular from Koragg that sticks with you over time? Like one you really love to do or love to say that comes back to you at times?
Yeah, I mean, it was it was the way I got myself back into the voice each time. And it was just basically his introduction, but it was just that I am Koragg the Night Wolf, and that just helped me find the voice all the time. So
My personal favorite is when he has the best of the Rangers, or just the Red Ranger who he's feuding with. Yeah, he's kicking his ass, and he's like, I waste my time, and he just teleports out. He's like, I'm tired of whooping your ass. he knows he has better of him, and he just leaves because he knows he's better. He's like, I'm better than you, and I know it. He pulled an MJF on him, Matty.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that cockiness of Koragg, and the honor of a knight too. It's like you can't defeat me without your sword. Now pick it up. I love that. You do that so well.
This isn't going to be an easy one. I'm not going to take it easy on you, but we want it to be fair and noble. Yeah.
I love that. I think that's what made Koragg such a great, and for me personally, it makes Mystic Force a really overlooked series. Like I've asked a lot of fans, and it's not on their favorites list. It's not even in their top 5. I'm just like, why? Yeah. It's great. And Koragg definitely steals the show.
Yeah, right. I think,
you won't make that possible.
We had no awareness of that. I mean, it's only been really this year with COVID, with you guys having to shut down your conventions and your times to get together, that these sort of opportunities have come up. Till this year, really, I had no idea how popular Koragg was, or even Gosei. So it's been quite humbling to sort of get the feedback and hear from other the groups such as yourselves, and hear how much it's been enjoyed. So yeah, cool. Thank you.
We'd love to see you stateside, Geoff, sometime.
Yeah.
Once this whole thing's behind us, once COVID's a bad memory, we'll buy the first round.
Cool. I think I've said a few of the convention people now, so it's basically just down to when things are safe to travel again, and also when when New Zealand opens its borders up a bit more, because at the moment, if I leave, I could come over tomorrow if wanted, but it wouldn't be the safest thing for me. I'm a bit immunocompromised. I get asthma, so.
No, we don't want that happening to you.
Yeah, don't risk your safety over little old us just for that. Do not.
Once it's all gone, once the vaccine's prepared, and we got some good news about that today, ironically. So, knock on wood.
Step on wood. Maybe once new administrations are in and there's a far stronger focus on the COVID situation too, it might change things up a bit. But back home here, I'd have to come back. I'd have to isolate in New Zealand for 2 weeks in a hotel coming back. So at my own expense. So it's
don't go over the top for us. Come back,
exactly.
Save your money, man.
maybe when you do come over, they'll have a Koragg Lightning Collection figure. I got Goldar here as an idea. I want a Koragg Lightning Collection figure. I've been bugging Hasbro to make a Koragg one, and maybe by the time you get over here, they'll have them in stores. I know I'll bring mine to sign.
Yeah, because we've seen no merchandising either here. We don't get that stuff. So I think someone a couple of months, last year, maybe 2 years ago, sent me a Koragg card, but that's all I've ever seen. So other than a 1 meter high Red Ranger in a mall in Dubai. That was the only other piece of merchandising I've ever seen.
I'm gonna find Geoff from Wolves of Phone now.
Oh,
There you
yeah.
go. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna get him some Koragg stuff /
That'd be great.
Wolzard.
Yeah.
All right. So, Maddie, do you have any questions before I finally actually wrap this up properly?
No, we got tripped up by a couple things, but hey, we're good. I'm good to go if you're good to go.
One thing I always like to ask is there any future projects you can share? I know some places have NDAs, so you can't share everything, but are there any future projects that you could talk about that you're going to be involved with that people might be interested in?
Yeah, I mean, again, as you mentioned, NDA, so I've got a slight issue, but I think there's a lot of information out there at the moment. There's quite a bit of stuff being filmed here right now because we are in a relatively COVID-free state, and so there's 3 major projects in production here. Of course, the Avatar movies are being done down in Wellington, and they're pretty much in full swing. The cast's here, so yeah, I haven't got anything to do with that one. There's also they're calling it the Lord of the Rings TV series, the Amazon Prime production that's being filmed here, which is based on Tolkien stories as opposed to anything Lord of the Rings. It's very Lord of the Rings-ish, but it's based on Tolkien stories that they've developed new storylines into. Not involved in that one as yet. I've had a couple of auditions, and then there's another production being done in town here called Sweet Tooth, which is a Robert Downey Jr. production. Yeah, based on a sort of a dystopian comic book series. What do you call them? A bit like your
Graphic novel?
graphic novel sort of thing. Yeah. So I think it's called Sweet Tooth as the novel too. It's sort of a post-apocalyptic, actually a virus story. So yeah, it's quite cool. But I can't say anything about that one.
Darn, that's something we can get a Twisted Metal show, right, guys?
I know, that's what I was thinking there for a minute.
Yeah. I
How
mean,
cool would that have been?
That would have been fun. Kind of
I'm only revealing stuff that is very extensively in the press already. So, but other than that, I can't say anymore.
Understandable. Hey, we've been in this.
Fair
We've been doing this long enough to know that NDAs are a thing. We're not going to push that. It's good to know
It's
what's
our
coming
first
out.
rodeo.
Nope, not by a long shot. Well, again, Geoff, it has been an honor and a pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us, man.
My pleasure. All the best. Stay well, gentlemen. Stay safe, and look forward to maybe seeing you sometime in the future at a convention.
Absolutely.
God willing.
You have a good night, man.
You too. Cheerio.
Woo.
that was way more bumpy than it needed to be, but that was good.
Yeah, well, I'm still recording, so I think we could do a little bit of post-show for this.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sure. Yeah.
So, yeah, that just happened.
Woo. I'm still trying to process this.
Yeah. You got to meet your hero, man. Well, hero being the operative term.
Well, one of my top 10 villains of Power Rangers.
Yeah.
I would have asked him if Koragg was a brony, but I don't think he would have gotten the joke.
No, I get the feeling that would have gone over his head.
No.
I still hate that my connection. Fuck you, Spectrum. Just fuck you.
Hey. RVT, never without a botch.
Amen to
We
that.
should have told Jeff that.
I hate that it happened. I hate that it happened. I had OBS open up ready to go in case your internet gave up the ghost for good, but
Yeah, like we just paid we just paid our bill. We have a zero balance for once. Like this should not be happening. It's like, god damn it. Also, Jane is over here now.
Yeah. We knew then what we knew now about Megaforce, about Jeff not being able to see, or know what's going on. Just do the line, Jeff. I mean, that sucks.
It's explained so much. It's all the series.
It really does.
Like that really makes us realize why both the Disney era and the Neo Saban era were the way they were. A lot of the voice actors for the monsters and the villains probably had no idea what they were doing.
They were literally doing it by ear. I mean, they had nothing to work with. Again, no rough footage of Wolzard for Jeff to work with. I'm like, come on. Like, he even said it himself, a sketch, a concept art. I'm like, that does me no good.
Yeah.
At least the anime guys and girls, when they get to do it, they get to watch the anime while they're doing it sometimes.
or at least enough stills to realize, okay, this is an action piece. This is just another piece. I maybe act like this, maybe act like that.
Right.
This is like, I hear that, I'm like, wow.
Ooh, I feel bad for the guy now.
Absolutely.
I feel bad for all ADR guys over there to have to go through this.
Yeah, hopefully Hasbro will fix things up in the future so that won't be as much of an issue. That's another change we need. Hasbro, take this interview as a cue point, all right?
That'd be nice. That'd be very nice.
Anyway, I think we should call it here, wrap it up, but...
Yeah.
Easy,
Yeah.
you do the honors to you're the host.
Yeah. Hopefully Jeff saw the YouTube clip I sent. Anyway. Well, that's going to do it for the recap. Again, we want to thank Geoff Dolan, amazing guy, very nice, very humble guy. Again, you don't know what to expect from these kind of calls. So again, hopefully we'll meet him again under more felicitous circumstances in a COVID-free world. But until the next time, I'm Easy Rider reminding you that there is a simple explanation for that. Magic!
Shut up, you weirdo!
There is a simple explanation for that. Anyway, I'm Easy Rider reminding you that the fan sub will never die. We are your Ranger Recappers. We will see you, I guess, Thursday. Well, we'll see you when we see you. And if you have a problem in life, hashtag just add magic or Morphex, whichever comes first. And as always, may the power protect you. We'll see you.
Special thanks to my patrons like Voice and a Frozen Traveler. Subscribe today to make these streams even better. Also thanks to Easy's patrons, including Chris Lee, Chris Frolls, Michael Antignano, Stephen Harris, Galen Hanna, Alonzo Tompkins, Anthony Guidman, Matthew Goling Long, Dino, and super shout out to Eric Vaughn and Shane Thompson for their support.